wanted to make sure I finished Vanda's book for the show, and I did read it all. It's a great book. And it's a thread throughout the book, ayahuasca. It's a big deal in your life. We were kidding, but you really did have some dark moments in your life and some things that you were holding in. And tell us how it helped you get your shit together.
Well, it's it's a really it's a sacred. It's not a recreational drug. A lot of people see it as tripping balls, but it's not that. You do a special diet with it, and it's been used in the Amazons for centuries. In the Amazon for centuries, and it's everyone was talking about it like it's a feminine essence that comes through this plant, and that was my experience. And yeah, it was wild.
Wasn't it actually two plants combined, right?
Exactly. It's the vine is the ayahuasca vine, and then the leaf is usually it doesn't matter, right? There's another leaf.
Look it up. That's why God invented the internet, folks.
Exactly.
Just look it up.
But it's DMT and an MAO inhibitor that makes it viable in your belly. So your stomach acid doesn't eat it. So yeah.
So Lex Friedman, and the guy who was interviewing Elon Musk in the opening, said that it was just sort of pleasant for him. He didn't confront any demons, and Elon Musk, and both of them said that's what they had heard happens. Has that always been your experience? And is it always the way you wrote about it in the book? It was very valuable. So one question I have is, was it ever just sort of a dud and it wasn't particularly valuable, or was every time you took it valuable?
Most every time was valuable, even what you would call a bad trip. But I asked for that. Like you do have some degree of control. Like you can intend it to be really in depth, and you can decide that you want it to be. Like one time I said, I want to understand what goes into people who I don't understand, like people who could hurt another person, like torture them, kind of thing. I want to understand what it is to be a pedophile. I want to understand, I want to not other anybody. I want to be able to, if we are all one, then I don't want to ostracize anyone. I want to understand them. So I sat and had a very dark journey through all of the of humanity. And, it was a lousy feeling for several hours. And I actually called the guy over. I never had to call the guy over before, and said, I'm having a really hard one. He goes, yeah, this is the stuff we don't like to look at. So it didn't feel great until the next day when I was walking in our old neighborhood in Venice, and this street person goes by, and I smiled at him, and he turned around and he said, thank you for smiling at me. And I went, oh, of course. And he started to cry, and I went up and I hugged him, which is I'm not usually like Jesus hugging.
You're not a hugger?
But because I had been with such the darkness of humanity the day before, it was easy to hug this guy. And it made a big difference for him, I think.